Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Sugarbuds channel, the brand that will define quality and value for those that appreciate the finer things in life. And joining us today is John, the Chief Executive Officer. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Great to be here.
It's such a pleasure to have you. So today I really kind of want to unpack a few things, a little bit about the company, a little bit about yourself. I mean, you guys are offering explosive revenue growth in the Canadian cannabis sector, which is starting to become a rarity. But with your craft cannabis collection, can you offer new investors kind of just a brief elevator pitch to what you guys are doing and why it's getting so much traction?
Yeah, you bet. I think the easiest way to think about this is, with going on 3 years in Canada now with legalization, I think we've seen a number of different models start to emerge. The industry really started out with bigger is better. And from the very start, Sugarbud really took a contrarian position in that whole dynamic. And we started with the customer first, and we really stepped back and said, look, how are we going to really create a business that we can be proud of? And philosophically and practically, it starts with the customer. Delight the customer, and we equate that to sustainable revenue growth going forward. So they're an important dynamic of what we do. It's who we focus on, and the level of detail we put into our products is really the primary goal and aim there. We want to provide consumers with an experience that they'll remember, an experience they'll cherish, and we want to be part of their memories along the way as well. So the only way you can do that is with a memorable product and something that really stands up and outside of the crowd.
Yeah, speaking of the products, can you just give a brief idea of kind of the product offerings within the cannabis space?
Sure. We have chosen to focus, again, maybe a theme that's a little bit different than others in the space where they want to do everything. Very early on, when we decided who we wanted to be and how we wanted to delight consumers, we had to really think about what is it we really want to do. So we started foremost with the plant. We started with dry cannabis, and we felt that is the most naked expression of cannabis today. There's not much you can do to hide it. Your flower is either tremendous or it's average. And so we set a high bar for ourselves, and we decided that by focusing on the quality of the plant and the input that goes into subsequent products, we can really establish a brand that consumers can both trust and really rely on. So for us, it's all about dry cannabis derivatives. And then thirdly, and not surprisingly, we think that solventless extracts are a beautiful adjacency for us to enter, which we've done with flower rosin early this first quarter of 2022. And the reason we believe that is that is another really phenomenal expression of the plant. You're not tearing it apart and ripping it apart and reassembling like you're doing in many of the more advanced extractions, hydrocarbon, ethanol, CO2. This is really taking the plant and the essence of it and just bringing it down to a more concentrated form. So, garbage in, garbage out. If the input isn't that great, the rosin, the resin, whatever you end up doing, hash is not going to be that great. So that goes back to basically our foundational perspective, which is be great with the plant, be great with our dry flower, and everything else we do will follow suit.
Yeah, and when we come back, we're really going to unpack that side of your business and kind of just divulge deeper down into it. But I kind of want to roll back a little bit because you have over 25 years of experience leading complex life science and cannabis companies, not only in Canada, but the US as well. Can you kind of just give us that background history that led up to the aha moment that got you involved with Sugarbud?
Sure. It's been a real pleasure to be a part of the organizations that I've been a part of. I've had the good fortune and privilege of leading organizations that are world-class in both size, scope, and scale and design. Tremendous people, tremendous influences, and not easy. You're building things that don't exist in life sciences in many cases. Most of my career was in medical device, and so we're addressing a lot of unmet needs. And so, part of that innate interest in what is the customer really looking for, really understanding the user base that we're attacking really comes from my background in med device, where you really had to understand that. Certainly, operationally, understanding how to wind up a very efficient and underlying profitable business is key. So I come by that honestly, I suppose, as we look at the cannabis sector. And more fundamentally, I've always been really proud of what we do in life sciences. So I've never been shy about, we all can make money and we all have to earn a living somehow. But I've always felt that the career choices I've made and the organizations I've been a part of allowed me to give something back to the community that was meaningful. And when I looked at cannabis as it started to emerge, Not surprisingly, early on in Canada, we had a number of up-and-coming LPs that were looking for direction and assistance on how to commercialize, operationalize cannabis at a scale that had really never been seen before on the Canadian landscape. So that really what has got my interest peaked into it, saying, hey, this is a really interesting space. As much as I had the good fortune of working with some tremendous organizations, they were all very well established in market sectors that were very well established. Professionally, there's really few opportunities for any of us to jump into something brand new at the ground level and really make an influencing and a positive influence on the evolution of that space. So I looked at cannabis in many respects as an interesting parallel adjacency to life sciences. Definitely, I thought that much of the skill sets and vision and experience that I brought to the table would bring value to organizations. And I entered the space in, I guess it was April of 2019 before we went legal here, and got a firsthand experience to see both the chaos and the coalescence of a legal market starting to assemble. And ultimately, a lot of my success and how I look at, the scorecard in life is when you look back, have you made a difference? Have you left something behind that's better than when you started? And I think to be a part of the emerging legal cannabis industry is going to be a tremendous experience when I look back on it in 10, 15, 20 years. We're so early in the arc. It's so young. There's so much more to do. And I think we take a long view. I take a long view and look forward to really seeing where this industry goes and what it can truly become.
I really love the passion and just kind of the experience you're bringing forward here. And speaking on that, I mean, do you mind offering a bit of insight into the board as well? These people that are helping you captain this ship and kind of the experience they're bringing to the cannabis industry.
Yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't just make it really clear to everybody and investors, throughout the organization that it's people and teams is our number one value as a corporation. Really, at the end of the day, it's our people and teams that make this thing work. We can have individual leaders that have passion, vision, and expertise, but it takes a team, it takes an army, and it takes a group to really pull that together. And the board is part of that team. So we've got 50 employees currently as part of our business that work really hard every day to delight the consumer. And I've got 4 corollary board members and 2 advisor members that help me think about the future and where we need to take the business. When I arrived at Sugarbud, it was a young emerging startup, not unlike many, not necessarily a lot of formal structure, but the typical structure of a publicly traded company. We have a board and we have a C-suite structure. But when we looked at what we wanted to accomplish, we decided, well, we need to also evolve our board and expand our board to create enough difference of opinion, enough perspective, so that we're having a healthy debate about the future of the organization and thinking about strategy and how to keep the rails on the track, if you were. So we have 5 board members total, myself included. I'm the only executive on the board, so I really lean on the independent board members. We have individuals that range from oil and gas. Not surprisingly, we're Calgary-based, so oil and gas plays a role in what we do. We have very accomplished legal executives that help us on compliance based out of the United States. We've got a very tremendous advisor that is based out of Colorado that has a lot of experience in the legal cannabis business in the US that gives us tremendous guidance and experience. Very well-equipped financial executives sit on our board, and obviously that's a big part of our obligation in terms of governance is our auditing and compliance with our reporting structure. And more recently, we brought another advisor in that has a tremendous amount of experience in capital markets. So we're looking to continue to diversify our board in terms of experience. We're looking to add value in terms of where they can make a difference on strategy, and we'll continue to do that going forward as we grow and we see the need.
I really appreciate those insights, John. Thanks so much for coming out today.
My pleasure. Look forward to coming back.
And on that note, folks, I want to pass that question off to you at this point. Let us know what you think about Sugarbud and the cannabis industry in that comment section below. Consider subscribing, because as news comes down the wire, as we continue to basically unfold and look under the hood of Sugarbud, we'll always update you right here. But on that note, stay cool, stay awesome. And as always, I look forward to catching you in the next one.